In the last episode, we stayed with the return of voice. Not polished, not confident, but the first fragile interruption of silence. The moment truth was spoken before you were ready. That mattered because once voice exists, even imperfectly, something new becomes possible. Today's episode is about what comes after expression, when voice stops being just release and begins to shape choice. And this is where identity moves from speaking to authoring a life. At first, it feels like speaking is the breakthrough. You finally say the thing. You finally name what's been true. You finally let yourself be heard. But then something unexpected happens and speaking gets easier. And a new tension appears because now the question isn't, can I say this? The question becomes, what do I do with what I've said? Voice has opened a door, and now you're standing in a space where choice is unavoidable. You notice it in small moments. You say something honest, and then someone expects you to act accordingly. You name a boundary, and then life asks you to honor it. You tell the truth, and then suddenly the old pattern feels impossible to return to. And this is where a lot of people get overwhelmed. Not because they spoke, but because speaking changed the terrain. And this is where voice stops being expression and starts becoming responsibility. This is where identity becomes practical, not philosophical, not emotional, but practical. Because once voice exists, you begin making decisions, sometimes before you feel ready. You start noticing what drains you, and you stop automatically agreeing to it. You notice what violates your integrity, and you hesitate before crossing yourself again. You don't always say no clearly, you don't always get it right, but something has shifted. You're no longer acting automatically. You're choosing, even when the choice is uncomfortable. This is where boundaries begin. Not as walls, not as ultimatums, but as self-respect taking shape. You might feel guilty here. Fear, second guessing, that's normal. Because authorship feels risky when you spend years surviving instead of deciding. But this stage isn't about perfection. It's about alignment, about living in a way that doesn't require constant self-erasure. And slowly, something becomes clear. Choice isn't about control. It is about authorship. Authorship is not dominance. It's not certainty. It's not about having everything figured out. Authorship is simply this. You begin to see your life as something that you are participating in consciously, not just enduring. You recognize that every yes is a direction, every no is a boundary. Every choice shapes the self you're becoming. This doesn't make life easier, but it makes it yours, and that matters. Because identity stabilizes when the self knows it is allowed to decide. Not once, not dramatically, but consistently. This is where identity stops being reactive and starts being intentional. In the next episode, we'll move into the final arc of this stage, integration. What it looks like when choice, voice, and self begin working together instead of against each other. And that's where identity begins to stop fragmenting and starts feeling like home. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also hit the notification bell so you can be notified when I post the next video. Sur ce, on se dit à la prochaine. See you soon.